Josh Green here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by, in just a couple of months, an Olympian, Mr. Lewis Richardson. How are you doing, Lewis? Out in camp, I see.
Yeah, doing really well. Thanks, Josh. Thanks for having me on. I'm currently in Italy in a CC, training with Team GB and with GB Boxing, and we are training alongside the Italy national team. Got an international training camp out here. Got other countries attending. So yeah, just arrived yesterday and just settling in this morning. Been for a nice little run around the area, and yeah, just chatting to yourself before we head off to our first boxing session.
How important are these sort of moments in the lead up to, well, you won't know in terms of up to Olympics, but in terms of a big moment in your career, a big tournament, and getting prepared for that?
Yeah, they're massive. We often have international camps within Sheffield, so we invite countries over. But and we often travel as well. So we've opted to travel on this occasion. We've been a CC before, so it's familiar sort of settings for us, for all of us Olympians. So yeah, it's really important. You can't buy the experience gained from them invaluable rounds of sparring. It's the closest you'll get to obviously competition as well. So having gym belts out here, which is in a great position for, as you say, well, next month, around five weeks away now. So coming to the business end of things.
Is there a little bit of extra focus from yourself and the rest of the team when you wake up in the morning and you're sort of ready to get in the ring?
I don't know. It's difficult to say really, because a little bit extra, you think, I can't really find that. I know how hard I'll sort of work anyway, and I prepare for every competition, especially every major competition, to my maximum. That being said, it is the biggest. Even I know I've been to the European, to Worlds, Commonwealths. There's no bigger than the Olympic Games, and even talking about it now, I love talking about it, and it brings a smile to my face. But yeah, when you're in them hard sessions, hard runs, hard weights, and obviously the hard boxing sessions, it definitely does spur you on that little bit more.
Talk to me about that moment where you qualified. I know it has sort of been a moment that's been long in waiting for you. You've been in the sort of Team GB and the GB boxing process and the team for a long, long time now. But to get to that moment where you've qualified for an Olympics, what was it like?
Just amazing. One of the best days of my life for sure. Just so much has gone into that moment, and I think if you already follow me on socials, you'd have seen the interviews going around on just how emotional I was. How much it meant to me. In the moment, I was a little bit like, sort of, I just couldn't control my emotions. But I'm not ashamed of that. I know how much I'll put into that, and I know others do as well. So yeah, just a really, really special moment. As you say, there's been a lot of ups and downs along the way, and I've been in the program for over 6 years now. Just missed out on Tokyo, and then there's been a lot of sort of obstacles in the last 3 years. Obviously, it's a short cycle, and for a chunk of that period, I thought the Olympic dream was over, but really managed to, over the last 6-7 months, turn it on its head, and yeah, Olympian forever. So yeah, just over the moon, really happy, really proud, really thankful. Thankful for everyone who sort of contributed on the journey and supported me along the way, but also proud of myself for applying myself day in, day out, and having that sort of never say die attitude. And yeah, here we are now.
When you sort of look back at 6 years ago at the person and the fighter, I guess, that turned up in Sheffield on day one there, how different are you now after everything you've been through?
I'm definitely a more improved, polished version of Lewis Richardson, and that's not just as a boxer, but also as a person. I believe, from boxing, I'm a much better person. There's a lot of transferable skills, qualities that sort of boxers portray that can, as I say, be transferred over into other aspects of life. Within that time on the program, we've also got a master's degree in sport business management. So really proud of that also. But yeah, just I feel like I got into the program when I was 20, and you know, I feel like I was still a boy then, and right now I'm leaving. Well, I will be 27 when I've left, and you know, I'll definitely be leaving a man. And some great memories, some great moments along the way. Well travelled with a team, amazing experiences, amazing cultures, and yeah, just really grateful, but also, as I say, thankful to myself for keep pushing through.
You say sort of leaving as a man. Is the plan in your head beyond the Olympics to turn pro and have a crack at professional code?
Yeah, I think I definitely have to weigh up my options, but I mean that's sort of the most sought after route, the most common route, especially within British boxers, because we have such a great platform within Britain to springboard off to professional ranks. So I think I'd be doing myself a disservice if you know I said I'm not looking to do that, or it won't be a likelihood that I'll do that. So yeah, I will. There will be a strong sort of contention for me to go on down that route. Really excited as well because you know it's so hard to get to the Olympics, and people know that what the Olympic law sort of does for you. It sort of boosts your profile, but also your stocks rise as a consequence alongside that. And just really excited for what opportunities come from this. You know, already an Olympian, and you know, with plans to go and win an Olympic medal, Olympic gold, and yeah, I just feel like the possibilities are endless. So really exciting times ahead.
How much time do you actually kind of get to watch what's going on in the pro ranks, watch the shows at weekends and things like that? Because I know
Yeah,
there's so often you're off at camps.
yeah. I mean, it's difficult when we're abroad because it's hard to get sometimes. Like Sky Go, for example, it's hard to get that abroad, or the Zone. It's not always as easy as it you know could be to sort of get those, and then even find the links is not always not always accessible. So yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult to watch it all the time. But when I'm in the UK, you know, I'm more often than not watching the shows. I used to go to a few more, but um, whilst I'm sort of in my own training, you know, it's just it's a bit more comfortable to watch it at home and get straight back, get straight into bed sort of after the main event's on. But no, I'm a big boxing fan, and yeah, and I enjoy watching all the pro bouts, and it's exciting, obviously for myself. Looking, you know, within a sort of within, you know, by the end of the year, I'll be one of those myself.
I know a couple of weeks back you were in the Sky Studios with Dan Aiz. He's had a terrific journey as a pro, probably very different to what's happened to some of the Olympians that have stepped into the pro ranks. What were you able to sort of chat with Dan about, and sort of any advice you were able to gain off him?
Well, I've known Dan for a long time actually. I'm based in Colchester in Essex, and
Yeah.
Dan went to university in Essex. So yeah, we've known each other for a long time, and I've always sort of called on Dan for a little bit of advice as and when I sort of need it. He's a few years older than me and has been on a different journey to myself, but the hard work and sacrifice from both of us is you know has been put in, so it's transferable over. But yeah, I do gain advice off of people like Dan, former teammates on the squad on GB Boxing, like Fraser Clark, Joshua Barazzi, Dev Clark, Galal Yafai. They're you know they're sort of big characters within my sort of boxing journey still. And whenever I do need a little bit of advice, I lean on them. And really grateful that you know they've always got time to sort of offer me that advice. And it's funny in boxing because no matter how sort of big or small you are profile wise, or even weight wise, you know, experience wise, everyone's got each other's back because we all know, especially the ones that do graft, we all know how hard of a sport it is. So we've always got that. You know, we've always got each other's back. Likewise, when they need a push, like for example, Big Fraser when he needed a push on a track when he was going to Tokyo, you know, like he knows he can rely on me to give him that extra little push in training and things like that. And it works both ways. And yeah, that's another great thing about boxing: the relationships you make, and to the public eye, you know, some of these guys are celebrities or famous, or you know, but to us boxers, we're just super normal people, and always got each other's back should we need it.
You mentioned Joshua Buatsi's name there. He's sort of Ruben now to be taking on Willie Hutchinson on the AJ card, which we're expecting to see in September. Willie obviously had a big win over Craig Richards just a couple of weeks, more than a couple of weeks back over in Saudi Arabia. That's a big matchup, a big opportunity for Hutchinson. But how do you view that fight?
It's a great fight. Willie's done really well. Obviously, coming back of a loss a few years ago, which he was expected probably to win. He had a really good youth amateur record. I believe he won the youth amateur world, which is a great achievement. Obviously, decided to turn pro young. He never sort of had a senior bout, I don't believe. But yeah, he's done really well as a pro, and yeah, he sort of put his name right back up there after beating a very credible opponent in Spider. I've shared rounds with Spider, and he's a good fighter. And yeah, that would be a brilliant fight. Buatsi is obviously we've seen how good he is, and he put in a really good performance against Dan Aiz last time out, who will give anyone a tough night's work. So yeah, if that fight does get made, then it's a real treat for the fans. And just some of the cards being made this year and last year are amazing, and I just feel like what a wonderful time for myself to be making that transition this year or early next year. I just feel like it's a great time for a British boxer to turn professional, especially one like myself or the other Olympians from Paris. We've really got that profile coming off of the games. It's a smaller group, this group as well, so our profiles will be even more heightened because it's a smaller bunch.
You mentioned about fighters getting a bit of a kick off the Olympics and having a high profile, someone who's really utilised that, and someone you've shared rounds with, of course, is Ben Whittaker. What have you made of his progress in the pro ranks? He's obviously building a huge profile for himself with Sky and Boxer.
Yeah, Ben's doing really well. I think he's being managed really well. And yeah, I feel like he's got a good team around him to put him in the best position to achieve titles, to win titles, but also to secure himself from a financial point of view. And yeah, so far so good. It's hard to look past him, and it's also hard to ignore some of sort of the negative messages that Ben gets. But at the end of the day, whether you're sort of loving him or hating him, people are still talking about him and people are still watching. So yeah, Ben, so far so good for Ben.
We know the style that he's sort of employed in the professional ranks with the showboating and everything like that. I spoke to one of his former sparring partners in Showboating yesterday, and he said that it's not something he always did with him. I was just wondering, when you shared rounds with him, is that something, is that style he was employing then?
No.
Do you think it's something that's just come into the pro ranks, or?
No, because Ben would show signs of it in bouts in amateur, especially on the international circuit. He would show signs of it, but the difference is, priority with an amateur is always just to win and preserve yourself for the next round, because it's international boxing. You're boxing 4 or 5 times throughout the week, whereas professional games are a bit more entertainment based. And again, as I say, whether people are watching, are liking it or not, they're still watching. So it's entertainment.
Do you think do you think it's a positive to him generally, or do you think as he goes up the levels, it will start to be phased out a little bit?
That's not for me to say, to be honest. That's for Ben to make them decisions, and for me to say whether it's positive or negative, it's irrelevant, I think. So yeah, that's on Ben's one. That's on Ben's call.
Lots of people are talking about a big step up for Ben Whittaker next. Names like Showboating, Dan Aiz, Craig Richards, who you mentioned earlier, have all been mentioned for him. They're really big fights. Is there any of those fights do you think would really pique your interest?
Not massively. I'm to be honest, Josh. I'm super focused on my sort of Olympic journey at the moment, and also along with the rest of the teams. We've got a small team of 6 going to Olympic Games, with also Cindy, who's sort of part of GB, but also part of the refugee team. So I'm just super focused on obviously getting myself ready and also supporting the rest of the team. The pro stuff can wait for me. There's bigger priorities for myself and the team at the moment.
Fair enough. So 5 weeks now, as you say, until Paris 2024. What's going on between now and then as you lead up to the Olympics? Obviously, you're over in Italy now. What have we got to follow?
Yes, we've got a couple of weeks in Italy now, this week and next, and then we are back in Sheffield for a week, and then we travel out to France. Got a holding camp which will be amazing, and then we travel into for a week, and then we travel into the village, and then it's games time. So it's amazing. I think we're about sort of 4.5 weeks out from the from the opening ceremony, and the boxing runs all the way through the Olympic Games. So yeah, less than 5 weeks away, and feeling really good mentally and physically, and really excited to put a show on, and show everyone why I have and the rest of the team have qualified for Great Britain for the Olympic Games. You know, the greatest show on earth. So really excited to be part of that.
When can fans back home expect to know when you're fighting, when the other guys and girls are fighting?
For specific times, it will be a few days before, just as and when the draw is done, which is always the case in any international competition. We as sort of athletes we travel everywhere, not knowing who we're boxing or when we're boxing. It's just be prepared for these dates and for anyone in the world, basically. Obviously, we know who's qualified at our respective weights, but in regards to the draw and who specifically will be boxing on each day and each round, we have no understanding of that until, I believe, Thursday, the day before the opening ceremony.
Perfect. Well, yeah, really appreciate the time, Lewis. Best of luck for the next few weeks, and when it all comes together in Paris, we wish you the best of luck, mate.
Thanks a lot, Josh. Take care.